So you think you know all the secrets and tricks in the new season, huh? Well, maybe you do, but probably not. From discounted weapon upgrades to underwater looting, or even the new shotgun meta, which we'll probably complain out of the game in a month, but for now, here's 15 tips and tricks. If you know every single one on this list, comment tips and tricks down below, On to the list! Number 15. If you haven't been able to get your hands on the new Shockwave launcher, you might struggle to get into someone's box, especially if they're turbo building. But a really cool hidden trick that you can use to get into this box involves nothing but a single crash pad. If you want to phase into the enemy's box, stand outside the box and pull out your crash pad. Now all you have to do is throw this crash pad directly above your head against the wall, and it will bounce behind you. Once the crash pad inflates, it will destroy the box, and you'll be pushed directly into it for an easy elimination. And the best part is that this will put you in the box regardless of the enemy's ping advantage, so make sure you save at least one crash pad in your inventory in the future. Number 14. One of the most secret additions with Season 3 was when Epic added a brand new feature that some of you still might not even know of. This season, Fortnite added environmental fire damage. What this means is that if you set something like a wooden build on fire right now, it will actually begin to burn and spread. You can do this by placing builds near a propane tank or a gas pump, then blow it up. So if you're having a build battle at a gas station, make sure you take advantage of the new fire damage. But if you're on the receiving end of the fire attack, then we've got the perfect new tip for you. It'll especially be a problem when the new flare gun comes out, assuming that will set things alight. So if your build is on fire or you're taking damage from flames, make sure you have this trick in mind. A lot of people don't know this, but you can actually put out fire. All you need is a chug splash, and you can throw it down to both heal yourself and extinguish the flames. And it's that simple. It's weird that Epic would make chug splashes of all things put out fires, but that's just how it works right now, it seems. So just make sure not to throw a chug splash down while you're healing at a campfire, or it'll put out that too. Number 13. One of the most annoying but understandable things about the helicopters in Fortnite is that once you jump out of them, or if you get shot down, you can't redeploy your glider. Essentially, falling out of this thing is a guaranteed death sentence. At least with Season 3, there's a ton of water for you to make a safe landing. But when you aren't that lucky and begin hurling towards the ground, what if you had a way to redeploy all along? Well, there's a trick you can pull off in order to unlock glider redeploy while you're in the choppas. Grab your helicopter and fly it to the nearest whirlpool you can find. Now, once you've done this, park the choppa directly on top of the whirlpool and jump out. But as you swim back towards the helicopter, spam the entire helicopter button just as you get launched by the whirlpool, and if you've done it correctly, you can actually unlock glider redeploy. Try it out and you'll be diving into enemy builds in no time. No more worrying about being shot out of the sky, as you can just glide right on top of them for an easy elimination. Number 12. Speaking of easy eliminations, here's another secret trick that'll help all of you box fighters out there. If you're both in or outside the box, you can swap to your hunting rifle to get a really clean, quick peek shot. Now, the advantage of this is that the hunting rifle actually has no equipped delay, so you pull it out instantly. It's also extremely accurate for no-scoping at short range, and if you're lucky, you might even hit that clean 200 headshot. The potential of this one-shot kill inside a box fight makes the hunting rifle extremely useful for those of you who love to peek boxes. Number 11. Loot llamas, ever since they were added, have always found themselves in the weirdest places you can think of. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen these guys high up in trees, on the edge of cliffs, underneath buildings, and with Season 3, it gets even more frustrating. With the Great Flood covering most of the island in the water, it's pretty safe to assume that yes, llamas probably will be appearing underneath the surface. And you're not wrong, because they are literally everywhere. Although, what sucks about Season 3 is that Epic decided to not let us swim underwater, so good luck reaching these llamas for some extra loot. Well, that's if you don't use the secret tip we found for you. Oh yeah, we got you covered, and that's why you use our creator code, T5G, because the secret trick to getting the loot out of these underwater llamas is simply to pull out your weapon and shoot them underwater. While you might think this will just destroy them and either keep the loot under the surface and not drop any at all, that's not actually true. In fact, everything conveniently floats up to the top for you to collect. It's a really neat trick that a lot of people won't even bother to do, and it also works on boats underwater as well. So next time you're swimming around in Fortnite, don't just look out for sharks, but keep an eye out for those underwater treasures as well. Number 10. With the P90 finally returning to the game with Season 3, we now have a purple and gold rarity SMG back in the game. But this P90 will actually allow you to unlock a secret weapon, and the method is a lot more simple than you might think. A lot of us tend to overlook the upgrade benches around the map, but using them to actually side grade allows you to get some secret weapons that no one knows about. If you find a P90 and side grade it at an upgrade bench, you will be given a rapid fire SMG that you can then upgrade to legendary status. The best part about this is just how overpowered the gun actually is. The legendary version of the rapid fire SMG can shoot almost twice as fast as the drum gun, and it actually hits enemies through walls, even at 0 ping. It's pretty nuts, so make sure you save up the right amount of materials the next time you find a P90. Number 9. Since the new charge shotgun doesn't allow you to edit while holding your charge, it can be very hard to use the weapon while fighting someone from in a box. So here's how to get around it. If you edit a door and have your auto open doors setting turned on, then you can actually just open the door while the shotgun is charged. Essentially, edit a door into the wall of the box and then charge your shotgun. All you have to do now is wait for the enemy outside of your box to try and make a play, and then you can just walk through the door with your fully charged shotgun to get a clean headshot elimination. Using this, you can actually now box fight anyone with the charged shotgun, even if it isn't as satisfying as the old pump. But you gotta make do. Number 8. Being attacked by a shark in Fortnite is pretty scary, even though they only do a small amount of damage. Although, if you're on low health, enjoy being eaten. You're not the only thing that shark consumes either, because all of your loot gets eaten up too. And while that is a way to make sure your enemies don't get their hands on it, you can actually use this to your own advantage. If you feed any item to a shark, it will eat it and store it. And you're probably asking, why would anyone even do that? What a waste of an item, Sam. What are we doing? If you feed the shark something with a high rarity, it will begin to glow that color. So, if you feed one of the sharks some of your legendary or even mythic loot, it will replicate that rarity. But it also stores the weapon for you so that you don't lose it. So now, all you have to do is kill the shark, and it will drop both the item you originally fed it, as well as some extra loot. And the higher rarity loot you feed it, the more chance you have of it dropping better loot. Basically, all you need is one shark and a golden item, and you've got yourself a nice little rare weapon farm. Number 7. Back in Season 2, decoy grenades were pretty useless, I'll admit it, but finally, in Season 3, the decoy grenades have gotten a decent use. The best way to use these guys are when you're trying to rotate or disengage from a fight. If you throw some decoys into a whirlpool right before you jump in, you'll be provided cover. They're pretty much flying human shields that help confuse your enemies so that they don't know who to shoot at or which one to chase down. Number 6. Speaking of tips for when you're rotating, if you can get your hands on the new Mythic Grappler and you have a boat available, you can pull out some really clean rotations on land. This especially works with your entire team to get some insane speeds. All you have to do is get in the passenger seat and get your team to go on land in the boat. Then you can actually pull your boat along the land and build some really good momentum. This even allows you to pull your team up a mountain, and it works like a charm. Number 5. There are actually a few Reboot vans around the island in Season 3 that you can find underwater. And like the secret llamas, it seems that there's no ways to actually use these things. Luckily for you guys, there is a trick that you can use to force yourself down to these vans, making them actually usable for those who need an emergency reboot. You can do this by alternating edited pyramids and backwards ramps to create a triangle tunnel down to the can. Basically, edit a single triangle build and then place 2 backward ramps on each side. If you repeat this twice, you'll have created a tunnel. Then you just have to spam triangles around the Reboot van. And once you've done this, you can now take a boat under the water, place floors under the triangles, and jump off to use the Reboot van to revive your teammates. It's a bit of a hassle, but worth it if you really need to pick your friend up. Number 4. Sticking with the underwater theme tips, Season 3 now allows you to easily build underneath the surface. If you actually place a floor 1 tile underneath the water, then you can place a really discreet launch pad. It's super frustrating when you try to launch away and someone just chases you down. And by using this trick, it's really hard for the enemy to spot the launch, making you much harder to follow. And not only that, but dropping onto an underwater launch pad just looks so cool. Number 3. If your team is ever struggling to rotate without a launch pad, there's a pretty cool trick that features the new Grappler. This one is pretty awesome because everyone can glide using only one grappler. To do this, look for the highest elevated point around you and shoot your grappler at it. Make sure your team is right behind you, and now, the second you deploy your glider, just drop the grappler from your inventory and it'll float down to them. If you do this correctly, everyone on your team can replicate these steps and you can share the grappler between all of you to rotate to escape the storm. Number 2. Season 3 has also introduced a small secret tweak to upgrade benches that you might not have noticed. In fact, upgrade benches should be utilized way more because now some prices have been discounted for Season 3. Last season, upgrading cost 200, 150, 150 materials. However, this season, it now costs 200, 150, 110. So now, especially in those lower rarities, you can really easily upgrade your weapons if you can find that station. Epic have acknowledged the fact that finding the station is half the battle, and it's gone from costing a total of 450 mats from gray to blue to now only 330 mats, so it's a lot more worth it. Make sure you're using those upgrade benches. And your number 1 spot. Our final tip is using crash pads to rotate consistently from within a box. All you have to do is place a ramp facing the opposite direction of the way you want to launch. Now stand halfway down the ramp and throw a crash pad. This lets you consistently rotate in any straight direction. If you need to rotate diagonally, well, we've got you covered there too. For this, box up, place a pyramid, and make the legendary Dorito cone edit. Now stand on the cone and throw the crash pad. This will allow you to rotate yourself and your teammates in any diagonal direction. I honestly can't believe how many insane uses crash pads have. But this has been 15 Season 3 tips and tricks. If you enjoyed this video, then you're gonna love this one right here. Click this annotation on screen to check out one of our other videos, and I'll see you guys over there. I hope you guys have a great day, and keep it right here on Top 5 Gaming.